Hey there everyone, welcome to the Uke Stuff channel. Today I wanted to do a video to show you what I've changed when I make the play along videos. Now I have a 6-part series on how to make ukulele play alongs using my iPad and the app Luma Fusion. You can also buy Luma Fusion now for a number of other platforms, so that would work well for you there too. But I've always done it on my iPad. Since my early days, when I was trying to make it on iMovie, I was kind of replicating what Jill Reese did with Dr. Jill Reese with her channel. And then I moved into doing what I do. You have the combination of a background, your own control over the lyrics, and then your own control over the chords. Whereas Dr. Reese was inserting chords over existing sort of lyric videos. So with that, I wanted to show you what has changed with recent versions of LumaFusion. And what I'm going to do is take a look at a couple of the videos that I was working on recently to just let you see that. So what I have open here is LumaFusion, and as you can see, I'm doing the song Can't Help But Smile. It's an ukulele play along. Now on this channel, what I've been doing is I have been recreating old videos. There was a point where I didn't back up any of my work, and Andy Ramos of the Andy Ramos channel there here on YouTube is one of my friends. He lives down in Texas, and he makes play along videos for his students. And we had a chance to meet at the Texas Music Educators Association conference, and he walked me through the fact that he could archive his videos. And I wasn't doing that at the time. I was making the videos and just deleting them. Later on, back in 2018, I decided to start making baritone play-alongs as well. But I had already made hundreds of ukulele play-alongs that were gone. So from that point forward, I started archiving things. So now if I want to make changes, I can import an old project and maybe at the worst have to refine the song or the picture behind it, but all the fonts and everything else exist there. Well, this is one of the songs I created way back when on iMovie, and as I'm going through my channel, what I'm doing is I'm making tutorial videos for every song, as well as baritone versions for every song, in addition to providing new content. So that's part of what I'm doing here. So I want to show you what's different. Now, as you can see on the screen, I'm going to walk you through here, and I'll either make myself small or whatever, you know, with a independent backdrop or whatever. But as I scroll along here, what you see are different layers. And the way that I again describe making these videos is you're building a sandwich. So the very bottom of your sandwich is your background picture. And actually, if I open this up and just allow you to see, that is the channel. That is what it is seeing in that particular voice or that particular channel of the video. And then on top of that is where I can put different text boxes. There are 3 text boxes. I'll touch them so you can see them highlighted. There's the title. There is the sort of the source referenced. And then, of course, I always put a Uke Stuff logo because, again, Uke Stuff channel and Uke Play-Alongs is a part of the Uke Stuff channel. It was actually the original Uke Stuff channel, but we're not going to get into that right now. But then you can see I have 4 stacked up. You have the picture. Next, you have the chords themselves. So I'll show you what that frame looks like. It is the chords you need to use and the list of chords. The next one up from there is a template that I use in every video, which shows you that there's a tutorial available as well as chord charts or tab now. That's another thing I'm doing, is I'm going through and making tabs for all of the nearly 700 songs on the Uke Play-Alongs channel. And then the final tab here, or the final channel, is the subscribe animation that was just downloadable somewhere that I add and it clicks through. Then I get into the song proper. And this is what I wanted to show you. It's different. I used to only have the picture, the audio on the bottom, that's the green line there, and then the text and lyrics all in one. I've changed that. LumaFusion now allows at least 6 different layers there. It used to only allow like 3 to 4 or in the early days, so that's how I've been doing it to this point. But now I make a separate channel just for the chords. So if I hide that, you can see what that looks like. And then I make a separate channel for the lyrics, like that. And then, of course, the boxes that you see changing are all an actual box. It's a shape in LumaFusion, and there's the box. And what I do is I set it to dip in where I hear it start, and then the next chord starts where I hear that chord starts. So if you're playing along, you see the animation in, I think a 1.0 is 30, so just less than half a second, but your eye catches that it starts to fade and you know you have to change chords. That's what works well for me with the timing. That's what I like, and that's what I create. So that's how this is being stacked up these days. It used to be thinner, but now I've expanded. Now you might say, why do I do that? Well, now with baritone, when I, for example, make the baritone version, all I have to do to change that is to get into the baritone chords themselves. So sometimes I do baritone in a different key, sometimes I do baritone in the same key. Either way, I have to change the font because these chord charts here are a font. They are from ukefarm.com. Long story there. They were created by a person who died of cancer. I had worked with him for a while before he passed away. And when he died, his son inherited ukefarm.com, and that site has been up and down. John, who was the original creator of these fonts, also made an educational version with numbers. These are all purchasable from ukefarm.com. And this is just a different, so you have to know what these fonts are. Now, I do have like a summary chart of these fonts, and there used to be a separate Mac app that you could use to like look up certain chords and things. Well, now you just sort of have to look at this chart and figure out what chord you're looking for. But standard chords are pretty standard. So you've got, for example, G7 is an N, C is a C, A7 is a capital H, D7 is a capital K. And then you get to know where these are, and they're very easy to put together. But that's how these videos are made. And really what I wanted to point out is the change in the layers thanks to what LumaFusion has done. Now, I have tried with some other animations that LumaFusion now has. Like, for example, I could have a bouncing ball that goes across, but I'm pretty happy with the boxes, and the dip that they do with each other seems to lead well to chord changes for me. I don't find that necessarily having a bouncing ball is going to be any more efficient, either in creation or in following, so I really haven't played with that. And then there are some whole new tools that just came out with the most recent version of LumaFusion that I did purchase, but I'm not sure how they're going to be implemented yet in these videos, if at all. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out to you was like a ukulele review and what I'm doing there as well. So you can see I keep a lot of videos in my queue at all times, but some of my more recent reviews, such as, for example, this Toto Music Fuji. And when I'm recording this, this video hasn't been released yet. But what they have now is something called multi-container. And in fact, you can see here, I've been doing some different things with my videos as well. I used to recreate these and type these data points in. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking my master document and making the background transparent, inverting it so it's white, and dropping it in so that those graphics can last the entire time I'm talking about it, and I'm making myself smaller, because at that point you don't need to see me other than just really hearing me, and if I'm there, that's, you know, that's a bonus. But otherwise, this is saving me a lot of time in the creation of these videos. But what I really want to point out were these things that you can see on the screen right now. These are multicam containers, and what it allows me to do is to import, for example, if I'm recording on my iPad and on my iPhone at the same time, this multicam container allows me to put them together, and it allows me to use one as a audio track, use one as a video track, use one as another video track. You can layer them, and then you can even take those and put them on top of each other. So you can clone them. So I can have completely synced stuff. I used to have to do all that manually and try to like sync it so be it just right or whatever. So that also has been a huge benefit to me as a creator, is working in LumaFusion with this. Now, all these add-ons do cost extra money, but it's so much time saving that it's worth spending the money in the long run. And I think that's it. That's all I really wanted to show you in terms of video updates for the channel, what I'm doing. And I also wanted to add one final thing, which is there was a point early in my creation of these videos, like the play-along videos and everything, that the idea was if somebody made a play-along, that song is out there. It doesn't need to be done by anybody else. But what I've found is that different people hear different chords, and different people have different approaches, and people have different timing. So even if, for example, the Ukuleleans channel, done by Rachel Webley, who also does Ukulele Whales, love her work. If you don't subscribe to her, do. She's a friend of mine. Even Rachel's videos are excellent, but I always feel like now I would like to do my own version of some of those songs. Not all of them, because we have different tastes in what songs we're going to do, or priority lists. But there are times that Rachel will have done a song, and in the old days I wouldn't touch that song, but now I'm not afraid to, and I'll make my own. And I encourage you to do the same. So the whole idea of these tutorials of how to do the play-alongs, or like how to more effectively use these applications to make your videos, is the idea that if more people are making play-alongs, there's more resources out there for almost everybody. And so few songs are blocked today from these channels. In the early days, for example, you couldn't do Beatles songs. That has changed. What you do need to know is that usually the copyright holder takes all the ad revenue from those songs. They still don't pass that back to us, but we have been allowed to monetize our channels so that, for example, if we make a tutorial video, that is allowed to earn revenue. And there's a couple occasional songs out there that the copyright holders do not claim and allow us to monetize. That's great too. I also like it when a copyright holder allows you to share the revenue. So you get some percentage of that revenue for making the video. So if a play along video gets 2 million views, which has happened on the Ukulele channel, then that video could potentially earn revenue as well. Doesn't usually happen with those songs. But in the old days, again, up until earlier this year of 2025, that's when this video is being made, we couldn't monetize, for example, the Ukulele channel, which is why I made 2 separate channels anyway. Now, if you watched my channels, one channel is dedicated just to play along videos and their tutorials. The other channel is dedicated to everything else and the tutorials. I put the tutorials in both places, but that allows people that are looking just for play along videos to have that source, and then all the other stuff is on the Uke Stuff channel. All right, thanks so much for joining me for this video. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more Uke Stuff for you.